Postpartum, and this is Julie Huntsman and Baby Noctis. And we wanted to talk today about using essential oils for fertility support, for pregnancy support, for birth support, and also for a little bit of postpartum emotional support as well. So, first of all, why I wanted Julie to be here with me is she is a prime example of somebody who has struggled getting pregnant, keeping pregnancies, and other things like that. She's been given several diagnoses, which, you know, we're not claiming to cure, treat, cure, diagnose, but, if she happens to mention a diagnosis, just know these oils are just help support and facilitate in self-healing, not necessarily to, just make the problem go away. So that's what we're talking about. And so when I met Julie, she was dealing with some emotional mood swings, and she was on, she had been given some medications to help with feelings of despair, anxiousness, and that type of thing. She'd also had several baby losses, miscarriages, and just a lot of ups and downs.
Hormone imbalances.
A lot of hormone imbalances, which, face it, I've been there too, where emotions are just haywire. And so we're excited to talk a little bit about this today. Just in starting, I wanted to talk a little bit about maybe reasons for having trouble getting pregnant. And some of those that I'm familiar with are hormonal imbalances, also problems with yeast in the body, because yeast can actually mimic estrogen, and then your body doesn't create as much estrogen because your body thinks that it has enough, because yeast mimics estrogen. Yeast, you can pick up yeast through all sorts of white foods like dairy, white flour, rice, sugar, that type of thing, starches, white potatoes. So it's really hard to cut those out, but doTERRA has an awesome cleanse to help that, and we'll talk about that. So we talked about hormone imbalances, including yeast, also problems with the ovaries themselves. I know that I have in the past had an experience where I had a cyst in my ovaries, and I know that was a big problem with Julie getting pregnant, was, this frequent problem with that. Oh, sweet baby.
I know, he's just fussy.
He's cute.
You're so cute.
Yeah, this is your first Facebook Live, baby boy. Yeah. So those are some problems that often contribute to pregnancy. Also issues with the uterus, the uterus not being healthy, maybe the uterus having some issues there. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. Obviously, there are many more factors that can contribute to the inability to get pregnant and stay pregnant, but we're just going to highlight those. And if you have any more in-depth questions, those can definitely be answered too. So I want to talk first of all about hormonal balance, and I forgot to bring balance essential oil. Well, I didn't forget because I couldn't find it at home. But there's a blend, a doTERRA blend called Balance, and it does what it says it does. It helps support the body's emotional balance. It has frankincense, it has a bunch of other essential oils that help you stay grounded and feel supported. It's also a phenomenal one and recommended often for those interested in getting pregnant and having some emotional imbalances there. So that's key. When I talked about that cleanse also, the cleanse that I'm talking about, it's the GX Assist cleanse and the probiotic, the PB Assist cleanse. And those together, what the GX Assist cleanse does is it flushes the candida or yeast out of the body, out of the gastrointestinal tract, so that the body can have that gone, and the body can build up that proper estrogen level to help the body be supported that way. And then what the PB Assist, the probiotic, does after that is it lays good gut flora along the entire gastrointestinal tract. It goes along more than just, to the stomach. It's double encapsulated, so it goes all the way through and helps lay that good gut health, and that helps with the immune system, that helps, keep yeast from, being an issue, and it also helps, the body be able to fight off other issues that may be contributing to infertility. So that's a huge one. If you haven't done a yeast cleanse and you're interested in learning about how that could maybe be a factor, let me know, because I can definitely give you some recommendations there. So anyway, the yeast thing is a thing. Then also, if you have issues with helping your body balance the estrogen, progesterone levels, there is a doTERRA supplement called phytoestrogen, and it's from it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about the difference you saw with the Lifetime Vitality Pack?
So I've had a couple other pregnancies. I have 2 other kids, 6 other pregnancies, and this pregnancy was completely different than my other 2. I know I did have a couple of health issues, but they were kind of unrelated to my pregnancy. But this particular pregnancy, before I was even pregnant, like a year before, I started taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and then I continued to take that along with, I took a prenatal as well. Vitality Pack, in addition to my prenatal, made such a difference in the way I felt this pregnancy. My other 2 pregnancies, I ended up with preeclampsia right away. I was stuck in bed on bed rest. I had a lot of health problems. I didn't feel good. And this pregnancy, I had some minor issues, but I was not placed on bed rest, and it really made a huge difference in my health, and the way I felt at the end of my pregnancy was like night and day, and I still feel good. I'm only 3 weeks postpartum, and I'm up and doing stuff, and I feel great. My blood pressure's down, and I look great too. So
you do look great for having a baby 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You look really good. So wonderful. And I know for me, when I first started taking the vitamins, my hormones, I felt like my body finally had the support it needed to balance out my hormones. It's a 3-part vitamin supplement or trio. And the first part, the first supplement is the Microplex MZ, and this has vitamins and minerals and other nutrients that your body might need to help support just a foundation of health. So these are vitamins and minerals that your body can instantly, from the time that you start digesting them, your body knows where to put those versus a lot of synthetic and other formulated vitamins that your body may have trouble figuring out what kind of a nutrient is this, where does it go in the body. The doTERRA ones, I notice a huge difference. It's like I feel like I haven't eaten or nourished myself when I haven't taken this. Then there's the Alpha CRS Plus, and this helps, it's the cellular vitality complex. It helps, it helps support healthy tissues in the body where maybe there's been tissue damage, or, in pregnancy there's a lot of stretching and growing and change, and so it kind of just helps the body's cellular health through that. And then the Z Omega, for me, this is where things got different in my pregnancies when it comes to pregnancy brain, because I'd always had pregnancy brain where you forget things, you feel scattered all the time. And because of the essential oil omega complex, it has omega-3s, it has, fish oil in it, and other essential oils that are great for the brain and the system, then I didn't have an excuse anymore. So when I forgot people's names, it was kind of embarrassing. But, I still blamed it on the pregnancy, but I'm just not good with names. But I really didn't have pregnancy brain problems since using this. Also, I feel like the vitamins really help support in transitioning through the different stages of getting pregnant, being pregnant, going through the different trimesters, supporting the body right at the end.
And the postpartum phase is so I feel like I had a C-section this time. My baby turned breech during the induction because he's awesome. And we are still taking the vitamins, and we were sent home from the hospital early, even though my blood pressure did tank because of medication issues during the C-section, and he was induced early. but we were sent home after two days in the hospital. On the third day we were sent home.
That's amazing.
And this is with a C-section, an emergency C-section. And then it's 3 weeks, and my scars looks like way more healed than 3 weeks. Like it looks pretty great. I don't have any postpartum depression issues. I had like some minor hormonal crying bouts like the first 2-3 days, and I just put some balance on and taking my vitamins, and I felt like the best postpartum that I've ever.
Obstetricians have said this is pretty complete. This is pretty awesome. So the difference I've seen is that especially in cases where there has been postpartum depression before, through supporting your body through the entire process, and then those vitamins continue to support your body in the healing process, it seems like, you know, that there has been quite a drop in the amount of postpartum depression or even postpartum altogether. So I really, really will toot my horn over and over again about the vitamins, because they just help with so many things, just the little things, and help support the body to be able to handle the bigger things too.
I feel like you definitely need the oils less when you use the vitamins. They're definitely worth it.
True, and sometimes we don't remember to do oils on top of it, or we're in a hurry, so even just doing the vitamins, and then when you get home, maybe, you know, if it's time to take your vitamins again, take them, but you can definitely use the oils on top of whatever you need to support the issues. So that I feel like is super helpful. Another thing that I have found with several people in the past year that I've worked with for fertility is for those who have issues with ovarian cysts and things like that. I have found, and I think Julie has, that basil essential oil actually helps the ovaries recover, helps give that additional support.
It helps with the pain too. I have a polycystic ovarian syndrome, so when I have my menstrual cycle, I have quite a few cysts on my ovaries, and I started using the basil on my ovaries during my cycle, and whenever I'd have cyst pain, I just rub a little bit on over my pelvis, and it definitely helps with the cyst pain. It really helped with period pain and stuff, and so I recommend it to everybody who they think they have really painful periods, because I'm like, you might have a cyst, and this might help with the pain with it. So
yeah. So basil's incredible. It's also really good for, if you're thinking about it, for lower back discomfort during labor. So it's really good. What it does is our lower back is kind of where our kidneys and adrenals are, and when our adrenals are exhausted, when we go through that adrenal exhaustion, it really puts a lot of pressure on our ovaries, on our kidneys, on our adrenals, you know, all around the same area in our lower back, and it can cause kind of inflammation there. So basil definitely helps just with, you know, that specific area of the body, I feel like. Awesome. So another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, if you deal with you know, brittle bones, or you're worried about your pregnancy, you know, sapping a lot of nutrients from your body, I have found that the doTERRA bone nutrient complex has been very, very supportive. In fact, with my last pregnancy, my baby at the ultrasound at 20 weeks was measuring only about, you know, in the 8th percentile, and in order to be not considered low risk, it had to be at least 11, I think. And I said, well, what can I do? And they said, well, just her bones need, you know, to be stronger. And I remembered that doTERRA has this, so I got it as soon as I could, and I started taking the bone nutrient. And several weeks later, I think 6 weeks later, they did another ultrasound, and my baby was measuring it in the 28th percentile or something like that. So really good. It was awesome, awesome news. And so I really have done, and I have continued using it when I feel like my body's just being sapped of a lot of nutrients. Then on top of the Lifelong Vitality Pack, I'll take the bone nutrient as well. And I have found that, you know, when you give your body the support it needs, it moves through transitions a lot easier. So now let's get into pregnancy. Of course, we've talked about the Lifelong Vitality Pack. We've talked about balance. Balance is an oil that we can put on our wrists, we can put on our hands, we can put on our feet. It's grounding, so the feet is actually recommended, but if you're lazy and you don't want to put oils on your feet like me, I'll sometimes put, just a drop on my wrist here, or even just somewhere I can smell it, and that really, really helps my emotions, and putting it on your skin can help too. Also, if you have discomfort in this ankle bone here or on the other side, that might be related. There's reflexology that leads from this outer bone on the ankle to your ovaries, and this inner bone to the uterus. So you can put oils there to help support those issues, in that area as well. So that's one thing. Also, when we get into pregnancy, digestive support can be pretty nice to have. What did you find helpful for you when you were dealing with symptoms of nausea and upset stomach?
I just use Digestin all the time, consistently. And lavender really helps too. I basically bathed in those two oils. I have 3 bottles upstairs now still.
Yeah. No, Digestin is the digestive blend, so that makes sense. And then lavender is very calming and can help alleviate feelings of anxiety, and it helps support open airways as well, so that kind of helps. A lot of people also like either wild orange, peppermint, or ginger. There were times during my pregnancy I really liked cardamom. So you're kind of going to have to see what smells good to you. Obviously, if it makes you nauseous, you don't want to use it. But there are essential oils that are really good at supporting the digestive system to transition through that. Wild orange was another one of my favorites, and grapefruit I use occasionally. But one of the odd ones that people often don't think about that was one of my favorite oils to use during pregnancy was Slim and Sassy. And this is the metabolic blend that helps support and healthy weight loss and all that stuff, which, it doesn't force your body to lose weight by any means, but it supports the metabolism so that your body can, detox and all that stuff. And Slim and Sassy actually has peppermint and ginger in it, and my body really liked that for those bouts of nausea, and I would just put a few drops in my water. It also helped me not gain extra weight, so that was nice too. I did have to stop after my baby was born, though, because it has peppermint in it, and peppermint does reduce milk supply for me.
I made the mistake of trying to use that the other day, and I realized as I smelled it, I was like, oh no, there's peppermint, instead of dump my water out.
I know. Yeah, so that's one thing to remember. After your baby comes, peppermint, some people, peppermint doesn't affect them. Peppermint does affect me. And jasmine is another one that can affect your milk supply and reduce it.
Well, I did find that if I need peppermint, that I can use mother's milk tea, and that I kind of balance it with that. So if I do need to take peppermint, there's always that option. But if you are struggling with your milk supply, I definitely wouldn't recommend
if you're
it.
struggling with milk supply, don't do peppermint at all. What I did find to be okay was if I used peppermint, and this worked for me, if I used peppermint, I could also use clary sage, which helps boost milk production, and it kind of balanced each other out. So, but back to pregnancy and the things we deal with during pregnancy. I wanted to talk about the probiotic again. We talked about the probiotic earlier to help support the gastrointestinal tract so that we can keep candida or yeast at bay, so that we can just keep our hormones from being tampered with by yeast, But the probiotic also helps boost the immune system. And whatever you get, your baby gets too. So whatever you eat, your baby gets. Whatever you breathe in goes into baby's lungs. So whatever you do for yourself, you give to your baby too. And what I did was I actually helped boost my immune system with these, and my baby was born with a pretty good immune system. And she's only gotten sick, I think, twice really in her life, where she was sick more than just minor congestion. And to this day, she has not been sick at all this cold or flu season. She's been eating stuff off the floor in public places. She's still scooting around on the floor, not even walking. But she continues to nurse, and I continue to do the probiotics on a daily basis, and her immune system stays good, and so does mine. So that really, really helps. In fact, I've heard of mothers, who have felt like they didn't even need their baby to get a vitamin K shot when they were born because there was so much just good antibodies from that. So also, if you have dealt in the past with baby discoloring, yellowish skin, and that type of thing, it really can just help detoxify the body from that. Do you want to add? Was there something you were thinking about?
No,
okay.
I think I'm okay.
I don't want to interrupt. Okay. Okay. So another thing, let's talk about early stages of labor, or when we don't want labor to start and we feel like we're getting symptoms of it. Lavender is really great at just calming down those little Braxton Hicks and stuff like that. In fact, I found that taking a bath with lavender really, really helped when I would work, chase my kids around all day, and by the end of the day, maybe you're starting to feel that cramping and stuff, then you can just, take a bath with lavender, and for me, that helped a lot.
I literally bathed myself in lavender all day.
Yeah, no, and that's a good thing.
That really helped when I had that bleed.
Oh, yeah.
And then the couple times we had contractions and stuff, doing that really, really helped.
Yeah.
I've had in the past a lot of contractions that were pre-labor, but they weren't whatever, so I was on bed rest a lot, and with having the lavender, it really helped to slow them down or get them to where they weren't concerning at all. So that was really nice.
That is really good. I love lavender. Lavender's awesome. All right, another one, mood swings and sleep. I feel like when we're doing the Lifelong Vitality Pack, that's at a minimum, but it can still be an issue. So what I found, my favorite ones to use for sleep have been Serenity has been really good at helping me just calm down, and Balance to kind of just feel grounded at the end of the day, supported, and all of that. And another one that I like to put in the diffuser sometimes is Wild Orange. Emotionally, it's an oil that helps facilitate a feeling of abundance. And so you feel like there's enough, that life is good, all that. So that really helped me at the end of the day just end the day on a really good note, and I was able to sleep pretty well. Were there any that helped you with sleep?
Yeah, I use Serenity every night, so that's one that's huge. I use it a lot just because it does help me with my anxiety as well. But we were using Serenity, and there was some postpartum insomnia going on, so a couple of times I had to use times I had to use cilantro just to get that chatter out. But
yeah, cilantro is another really good one. Cilantro I like doing internally because I don't like the smell of it specifically, but it can definitely help. Emotionally what it does is it helps with feelings of needing to control things. And so, after baby's born, we want things to be exactly right and perfect and everything like that. So cilantro can definitely help with sleep as well. And also mood and all of that. So getting into discomfort related to pregnancy. We've talked a little bit about the basil for lower back and all of that. Another good one that I liked was Deep Blue, and this is it's in a lotion form. You just take a little bit of it, and rub it wherever hurts. If it's the back of your neck, you can try there. If it's a joint, I've used it for when my sciatic nerve is acting up. Breathe it in.
I can't have the peppermint.
I know, peppermint's in a lot of things, so look at the back of your bottles. But yeah, so Deep Blue is awesome. Sciatic is probably the worst for me. So I used lavender and had some success. I've used lemongrass, I've used wintergreen, cypress, all those things. Sometimes I've even just taken a bath with all those oils, and that has helped too. So baths are awesome for pregnancy. So if you don't have a bath, go once a week to your mother's house, your mother-in-law's house. Get
Find
a bath.
somebody with
Find
a big
somebody with a
tub.
bath. Baths are huge. You know, actually Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, he said that if we would be doing really well if we could have one aromatic bath daily. Now most of us don't get that, but even weekly is huge.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do for myself.
I found adding some Epsom salt, like especially with like preeclampsia, high blood pressure issues, Epsom salt in your bath with some lavender, ylang ylang even, like can really help with that. I felt like it really helped with my swelling and keeping things. We were playing a game with my doctor to see if I could keep my blood pressure down. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and we did a Facebook Live video a couple weeks ago on using essential oils for baths. So if you have more questions on that, go back and watch that. So now we're getting into close to the end of the pregnancy. In addition, if you're still having a little bit of pregnancy brain, using the Z Omega as part of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. I'm a little bit extra ADD. I haven't been diagnosed or anything, which is good because I know I would get diagnosed if I went in. But doTERRA does sell IQ Mega as well. It's a fish oil, you know, in a bottle. You just, you know, can pour it into a teaspoon and take it. And so I've done that as well. It's also helped me with brain fog and scatterbrained, and also if I'm having a little bit of extra discomfort, it also supports in, you know, helping give your body some more omega-3s and all of that. So,
and if you're extra, there's the Focus Blend.
Right, there's the Focus Blend in tune, which comes up on all my scans because we all know Nikki has scatterbrained issues. So yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay, I'm sorry baby, am I talking too loud? Okay, another thing is doTERRA does have a deep blue polyphenol complex, and it's an all-natural herbal supplement that you can take in place of a pain medication or something. It's all natural, totally safe for the body. Although the only warning I've had is that a midwife told me that you don't want to eat a whole lot of turmeric because that can. I mean, there's no evidence it's done this before, but there's research that shows that it could potentially cause preterm contractions. So definitely play it safe. I never had issues, but use common sense, of course. If you're getting some, you know, issues after doing the polyphenol complex one, probably not do it. But for me, I love turmeric. I eat it, and I love it in a lot of my supplements, so I use it a lot. I never had any
inflammation.
Issues. Right. That's why it's in the polyphenol complex.
Yeah, because it's like pretty good. I take turmeric just like I make a weird cocktail.
And you never had issues with?
I didn't take it during pregnancy, but that's because the issue I was taking it for I use it for my PCOS, which has inflammation issues.
Okay.
So when I'm pregnant, the placenta and stuff kind of corrects my PCOS temporarily, so I don't need it. So
okay. So you just
need to take it.
Okay. Cool. Also with skin stretching and all that stuff, people get worried that they're going to have stretch marks that will never go away. If you love your stretch marks and they define you and you love them, I totally respect that. However, if you're like me and you're like, hey, I wonder if they would go away using something natural, Immortelle is a great option. It has a bunch of essential oils that help the skin repair really quickly. It helps support the cellular longevity and, you know, just cellular health. And so when you put it on stretch marks, it can definitely help reduce the appearance of, you know, those fine lines and everything like that. So great there. I love that. Frankincense, lavender, helichrysum, those are all in that blend, and those you could use separately with a little bit of coconut oil to make it go further. That's a great option. Okay, I think we're at the end of pregnancy. Now let's get into labor, okay? Okay, so get labor going. Obviously, if you want labor to slow down, you can, you know, use lavender to support you. But as far as getting it started, You found clary sage and myrrh?
Yeah, well, so we were induced, and so the night before my induction, I went and I put a bunch of the Women's Monthly blend on, and I bathed in clary sage that whole, like, couple of days leading up to my labor. With inductions, I wanted to make sure things went as, like, quickly as possible, so I wanted to get my body ready a little slowly, and I know that a little bit. It made me feel better anyway, so.
Yes, sorry.
And then we used those, I believe, also while I was laboring for the little bit I did get to labor.
Yes.
And I found that they really helped. My labor was kind of unique, so we did use the oils, and I was handling it like a tank up until. I mean, he flipped breech during the induction, and there wasn't any pain medicine going on. That was the painful part, was when he flipped. And then we also were able to try to get him to move a little bit, too, by using essential oils, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, we used some ice and peppermint.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that worked pretty good. And I think we used myrrh, too.
Yeah.
You put myrrh towards the bottom and the peppermint at the top, so you're supposed to get them cold and then they flip.
Right. You want to put cold where their head is so that they want to move away from it.
And this worked the first time, well, when I was pregnant, he was breech too. So we did that when I was during the pregnancy to flip him, and he was the right way at first, and then he went back breech, and we couldn't get him to turn completely during my labor. But later we found out it was because he had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, so it was kind of a good thing we didn't deliver that way.
Right. So it worked out. Yeah. You know, obviously the oils are here for support during whatever, you know, is supposed to happen. So, clary sage and myrrh are really good at supporting that labor. Also discomfort. I know basil, we talked about. Black pepper is another one recommended for the lower back. Lavender can also be very soothing. Peppermint can. And one thing that I found helpful is in my last 2 births have been water births, and I've actually added helichrysum and frankincense to the water.
I'm so jealous
I know.
You get to water births.
I know. It's a really great blessing. But I put those in the baths. Didn't let anyone see me do it. I just did it. And I didn't even ask if I could. But then I got in and I felt like, you know, there was so much less stretching in my perineum. I didn't tear or anything like that. I did have a couple kids before that, so that could have helped too. But, you know, it really just helped me feel supported, and like, you know, I could just push and I was supported on the other end. And when baby came out, he came into a pool of frankincense and helichrysum, which is great for the skin and cellular repair and all that. So that was a really good thing for me. I liked putting that. But if you want to take a bath before you go into labor or whatever, and you want to add those oils to just give yourself that extra support, that's great too. This book, Essential Oils for Pregnancy, Birth, and Babies, is really great. It's by Stephanie Fritz. There's a newer version that's a little more purple, so that's the one you want to get. This is an older version that I still use because I'm old school. But I really like she goes over all this stuff and more in this book. So it's a really good read if you get the chance.
My Tools also has a book. I have it downstairs. I'm lazy. And it's just essential oils for pregnancy, and I think it goes over, it has stuff that may help with infertility, conception. It has stuff all the way through pregnancy, and then it also has some really fun stuff about newborn care and like postpartum care in there, which is really nice too.
Yeah, and for for labor, and after labor, and during all that, diffusing essential oils.
They have some diffusing blends in there that were kind of fun, and we tried those, and
I really liked those. She had the clary sage and serenity going, and that was, oh my goodness, every time I left the room and came back in, I was like, oh, I want to just be here forever.
Staff was like, oh my gosh, this room smells amazing.
I know, they were like, I just feel so calm in here.
And then we diffused also in my hospital room, which you didn't get to come to.
I know.
So every time anybody came into our room, they were like, oh, the room smells wonderful, and it was just really nice to to just have my oils with me, and I felt supported in the hospital just having my diffuser there. So
support is huge. Support is huge when you're moving through that stage into becoming a mom again. So diffusing oils, diffuse some of your favorite uplifting or encouraging oils during labor and whatnot. You don't want to pick an oil you don't like because you're going to be mad about it and you may not be able to vocalize that. So pick something you really like.
It might be very hasty to vocalize that.
Depending. I mean, for me, my labors are really quick, so I don't get the chance. I'm like, I'm pushing right now, like, you know. But I have found that peppermint, I love diffusing that. I also love diffusing balance, maybe balance mixed with wild orange. I like something that smells strong enough that I feel like I'm getting a good amount of it. And I like my diffuser to be really close to me so I can just, stick my nose over it if I need an extra, a little bit of something. The aroma touch massage, if you're in that early stage of labor or whatnot.
So nice when you did that.
So I didn't do the whole massage, but I did do some oils right there on your lower back and her feet, just to kind of help with that. And yeah, I've had women come over to my house when they're pregnant, kind of in their last trimester, within weeks of having their baby, and they're just all sorts of in pain and feeling off balance and all that stuff. And an aroma touch massage can really just help the body feel supported in all those different areas. So I enjoy doing that as well, or getting one. And other ones to consider, Elevation and Citrus Bliss are other really good uplifting ones that I've found, and a lot of other people that I've talked to have found to be really supportive through the labor process and also postpartum to just help with uplifting.
The first few nights, especially the second night, oh my gosh. But the first few nights at home, you're home with the baby, and the baby's kind of freaking out, and you're kind of freaking out, and you're crying. Like, I know with this labor, it didn't go the way I had planned.
Well, the labor was fine. It was the
delivery
that didn't
go the way I planned. The labor was perfect, you guys. But yeah, after we had the C-section that was totally not planned and very, very much so happened very quickly, and I didn't really have time to process it. So once I delivered the baby, I didn't get to hold the baby. I met the baby an hour after delivery, and it was very, it was freaky. Because I, most people have planned, or more they know they're going to have a C-section, so it was kind of freaky going through all that and not being able to process anything of what happened, and then having your whole family come in, right after was I'm still trying to, process what just happened to me. So, having Elevation really helped. I was very, I told Nikki I felt robbed.
Yeah.
I did feel robbed of that birthing experience that I had wanted, and it really, really helped bring me back to a place. I use that with balance and the Serenity a lot once I got home, and then I've adjusted. It was the first week, you have the blues, and now I'm I haven't had a weeping crying experience, and this is kind of unusual for me because with my other two kids, I had postpartum depression, severe postpartum depression. During my pregnancy with my daughter, I had postpartum psychosis. That was super fun. So having the oils, I feel, has made a huge difference in just how my pregnancy and postpartum experience has gone. And while the birthing may have traumatized my husband, I was since I have the oils, I definitely think I could do this again if he would let me. But I think we have to talk about that.
We'll take it easy for a while. Yeah, but thanks for sharing that. That's, I definitely remember what it was like for me not having the oils with my first two births, postpartum, and just kind of struggling, and then having the oils, I just felt so much more supported, felt like I had a voice, felt like if I needed something from somebody, I could vocalize it, that I was supported in that as well. Lavender is a good oil for helping your voice be heard and helping you feel like you can vocalize what you need. So feel free to rub that on your neck if you ever feel like you need to. All right, so we talked a lot about that and the delivery. You know, we've talked about how to prep yourself and go through that process. Postpartum, we've kind of talked about, you know, mood and all that. One thing I love to do postpartum for women who have just had babies and for myself is to do kind of a ritual where I like to put frankincense on the crown of the baby, because that's an oil that connects to divinity, to just remind them, you're a little piece of heaven, and to me, you're royalty. And then I like to put myrrh on the umbilical cord area, and that helps. Historically, and biblically, women would put this around their the baby's umbilical cord to help ward off any generational sicknesses or issues, or to keep things from being passed on that they may not have wanted to pass down to the baby. Myrrh has amazing properties at purifying the body, and so it can help with skin and immune system and all sorts of things with the baby. So putting that on,
and
I like to do that.
Supportive too, because it connects you with your mother.
Right, it helps with.
That's where the cord connected you with your mother. So.
Exactly. So it helps with the bonding between baby and mom. And another oil that I really like for bonding is Melissa. It's lemon balm, and it helps connect. It also helps speed up that mother-child connection. Reminding everyone this is really what we were sent to the world to do, and it brings that joy, I feel like. So Melissa I like to put on, and then balance on baby's feet and mommy's feet, more milk. And so it kind of helps your body remember, okay, we need to make more milk at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when the basal was put on. So I feel like your milk kind of works in a 24-hour type of cycle. And so anyway, it helps with that too. Peppermint can help reduce milk supply, but don't put it on right before you nurse. Put it on after you nurse, or pump and then put it on, because it will actually keep the milk from flowing out. So don't put it on before you nurse. But you can put lavender on your breast or even grapefruit if you're feeling that discomfort. Have you dealt with that yet? Engorgement?
I'm like overproducing, so it's
okay.
like consistently engorged.
Okay.
But he's such a good nurser that I never really.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for him. He's getting all he needs, right? Sweet. Okay. Okay, so then in addition to that, the probiotic, the PB Assist, I continue, like I said, to take that for baby's immune system and all. It's a huge drop.
Used, like we're using coconut oil on him as like lotion, because I'm coconut oil obsessed.
Yep, me too.
But at night, my kids all have had reflux, and all babies have it at the beginning. And so when we first brought him home, we were sleeping him at an angle, and we were just doing all this crazy stuff to get him to just sleep. And so we rubbed him with coconut oil to like lotion him up, and then I used the Digest and Touch roller just a little bit. I put it on my finger, and then I mixed it in with the coconut oil on his tummy, and that seemed to really help. And I keep like a lavender roller too, and I used the lavender on him. And then I used the Digestin on his feet. That helped too. Once I realized, there's peppermint in this, and it's reducing my milk supply.
Yeah.
But then I started rolling it on his feet instead of touching it with my hands. And then I found really helped when he just was being fussy. We got the emotional rollers a while back, and so I actually have them in my room now next to his bed. So I've been using Peace and Console on him at night, and they'll like totally help him calm down.
Didn't you say you did that once where your mom and sister were over, and they were just shocked how fast he calmed down?
Yeah, my mom and sister were in. And I was like, you're freaking out, and I don't know what's wrong. I've done everything I can. And so I just I dabbed it on him, like just right behind his ears, Peace here and Console there. And he just like within seconds just quieted down and just was like, I'm chill now. And I was like, that is so crazy. So we brought all the emotions rollers upstairs in case he needed some cheer or something.
Yeah, those are huge. If you want to get more into how you can support yourself through postpartum and all that stuff, the emotions aromatherapy kit is amazing.
And another mom on a blog suggested with C-section moms, you have a lot of obviously baggage with that. So she suggested to use Forgive. So I've been starting to use Forgive.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
Yeah, she was like, just use Forgive. It'll help you to forgive your body and everything from being let down. And I was like, I didn't even think about that until I read that the other day. And
That's
I was like,
cool.
That's a really cool idea.
That is really
so
cool.
if your birthing experience didn't necessarily go the way you want,
Horns, they're even smaller. So
yeah, that's why I use the rollers and I dilute those.
yeah, so doTERRA does have, for a lot of the popular oils, they do have a touch version for that. So
and the touch version is usually a lot cheaper too.
yeah, it's cheaper and it's already diluted, and you can just roll it on and then put coconut oil on top of that to dilute it even more. Yeah.
The other thing is that I've been using since I had a wound vac, which was kind of cool. But after my C-section and they took the wound vac and my staples off, they put these little stickers.
Cuts off fingers all the time, and what's not. He just doesn't use the right tools when he builds things, and he builds things all the time. So, anyways, Correct-X, it looks just like a triple antibiotic type of bottle. It comes out about the same, but it's got essential oils like myrrh in it and helichrysum.
Right?
Yeah, so frankincense, helichrysum, cedarwood, melaleuca, lavender. I guess it doesn't have myrrh. I keep thinking it has myrrh. But myrrh is also a liquid base.
That time of the month when Shark Week happens, I felt like it, along with the basil, helped give me extra support with my emotional issues, and not only that, but the pain and the discomfort, as well as I noticed along with that, with the vitamins and the phytoestrogen, that I was getting more regular. With that, so it could definitely support your menstrual cycle if you're having issues.
It's over a lot quicker, and I just felt so much better through the whole process.
I noticed that I have clotting, so it helped with that. It helped just with an overall better experience with my time of the month.
Right.
So I highly recommend, even if you're not trying to get pregnant, if you are just a lady with a uterus and it still works, definitely, even if it doesn't work, just if you have a uterus, you need this oil in your life because it is amazing.
Yeah, I've also known women who have not had their period in a long time to